There are three fundamentals you need to be a successful bow hunter. First, you need to be where the animals are, you need to stay undetected, and you need to make a lethal shot. Today we're going to be focusing on that second fundamental of staying undetected. Everything from elk, bear, deer, wild pigs, they all use their nose as their primary defense system. So what that means is if a deer sees something that's a little unusual, it'll just kind of like check things out, try and figure out what that object is. If it hears something, it'll stop, it'll listen, wait to confirm what it's hearing is a threat. But if a deer, elk, whatever, if they smell a human, they are gone. They're not going to wait to confirm with their eyes that they're actually smelling a threat. If they smell it, they trust their nose and they are out of there. So you might be wondering, how do we beat their nose? I mean, their noses are better than a bloodhound. Their whole brain is developed to interpret different smells. And our best weapon, there are a lot of products on the market that can help manage scent, but our best tool is using the wind. So if you've ever just been walking around town and you caught a whiff of, a delicious burger being grilled, wind currents carried that smell from its source to you, and you can head right into the wind and follow to that source. Deer and other animals, they use the wind in the same way. They use it to carry scent to them, and scent is a big way of not only how they detect danger, but it's also how they communicate and find food. Wind can either carry your scent to an animal, or you can use it to your advantage and allow the wind to carry your scent away from them. So how we do this is when we're out scouting, one of the most important things we're paying attention to is the direction those deer are traveling. So let's say we're hunting in the evening and we know the deer are bedded up in this swamp and they're moving from the swamp up a ridge to feed on some acorns. It's a pretty typical setup, and we want to set up right on the edge of that swamp. We know the deer are coming out of that swamp, and so what we want is the wind blowing our scent away from the swamp. And now it doesn't have to be a straight line, but just so that the wind isn't blowing directly to the trail. Wind isn't the only thing that can carry your scent. There's something called thermals, which are especially important if you're hunting in an area that has lots of hills or mountains. And what a thermal is it's an air current that is created by the changing temperatures throughout the day. So in the morning, when that sun is coming up and it's heating up the air, that air is going to be rising. So if you're hunting at the bottom of a valley, your scent is going to be carried up that hill. Now the opposite thing happens in the evening. As the sun is going down, right in that last hour of daylight is usually when the thermals will switch and the air cools down and your scent is going to be carried down. Now this is also really important if you're hunting a day when there's very light wind, kind of like today where there's almost no wind, the air is very still. That's when thermals are going to have the most impact. Now you can use these to your advantage by, let's say you want to hunt in the morning, and that's when my favorite time to play thermals is in the morning. And there's an area where all these ridges kind of dump into a valley, and there's a bunch of nice thick stuff down in there. That's where the deer like to bed. But that's a tough area to find a good wind direction to hunt. On a really still morning, you can get into there super early, set up, and then allow your thermals to just carry your scent up, and you can have a good chance at harvesting a deer that day. So now that you know how to use wind and thermals to your advantage, here's how to tie it all into your hunting strategy. The night before you're going hunting, when you're trying to determine which spot you want to hunt, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the weather report and check for the wind direction for that day. Now that's going to give you the prevailing wind direction. It might be a little bit different in the particular area that you're hunting, but at least you'll have a good starting point. When you get to your hunting area, what you can do is you can use a wind checker. I use these things called wind floaters. They're basically milkweed pod, the milkweed seeds. and you toss them into the air and they float, and they show you exactly what the wind currents are doing. You can also, there's vaporizer ones, there's ones that are just white powder in a bottle, and they all do the same thing. They just show you what the wind currents are doing. And you're going to use that information to help fine-tune exactly which tree you want to set up that day. Alright, there you have it. Those are the basics you need to know to prevent getting busted by a deer's nose. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.